Hello, all. Welcome to our study number one of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This study is not a random choice, of course. This is going to be an homage to our contemporary composer, the Dutch composer Harold van der Heijden, or Heijden. I don't know if I am pronouncing it well. I hope so because this composer it's currently one of the most important in the studies environment. Besides being a judge, organizer of tournaments for composition challenges, he also produces very cool studies, also with many prizes. And besides all that, he's even editor of one of the most famous magazines we have about endgame studies, the EG standing for end game, EG. And also, he has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, I think it's probably the biggest, end games studies or studies databases of the world. He made a huge, gigantic effort to provide us. The database has the name of the composer, so Harold Eichen. I hope I'm improving. And so let's go for the study. So check the position. When you see the counter, you can start practicing. Enjoy. Okay, I hope you have noted down all your lines. I hope you have made a nice effort. The first move, a brilliant one, in a simple concept, is to play King H1. Brilliant, double exclamation mark. But let's see first what happens if we started by trying the breakthrough, like for example, with playing e5 too soon. Then we easily are going to see that we are going to promote two queens, and this is a draw. So, not being able to break through with the e pawn, we can try with the g pawn. Doesn't also works because we are in the way of the being the target of the check of this pawn. So basically, we try to just avoid it, but not impossible. If we try, for example, to advance our pawn, this is even worse because we will lose the game. So maybe you saw this on your calculations. I hope so. All these lines are important because after we studied the two breakthroughs, we see that we can and we need to find a different solution. So when we are here, if one breakthrough of the pawn doesn't work and the other also doesn't work, now we need to try different moves. And the next approach, so that's why I say this is not so hard, because basically we have four moves to think. Okay. Future studies, of course, will have different and complexities and challenges. So here also not possible because now the king attacks the pawn, so I am forced to advance, and again I will have both queens promoted at the same time. So no solution over here. So the brilliant move is this one. Why this works? Well, let's see first the most enjoyable finish for this. It's when black plays king f1. So we are now ready for the breakthrough. We start the breakthrough again with the e pawn, not the other, because the other will be a disaster again. So let's move on. And then we reach this point where, of course, we promote to queen. And if black promotes to queen, we simply give this brilliant checkmate. And that's one way to appreciate the beauty of this study. Of course, if Black here wanted to spoil our fun, it can promote to knight, avoiding the shaking makes square. But of course, this is a win for white. I'm not going to teach you here how to win queen versus knight. If you don't know, well, you need to study it alone at the moment for now. Let's see just another possibility. If here the king goes up, well, this doesn't change much because what we are able to do is to sacrifice our e pawn. So we give away our e pawn, then we advance g pawn. Here it's an important position, another critical moment, because we can't simply go in the pound races on both sides. We will have two queens. So, for example, if I make the mistake of keeping playing the pawn, well, in the end, it will be just a check and a draw because two queens can't win the game. So here we need also to play smart, and the best move is to control the pawn because we are inside the triangle of the pawn, and we can control it from here. Because now if the pawn advances, I keep controlling the pawn, and if it advances, there's no way black can reach this pawn, so the pawn is free to promote to a queen anytime it wants. So here is the critical moment again. So you see the king is too far away from the pawn, but our king is inside the square of the black pawn. So we play smart and we go and control it. Okay, hope you have enjoyed this simple but beautiful study from one of the most important contemporary composers we have among us. See you again in a future study. Bye bye.